I want to go home." Those were the first words Felix Baumgartner whispered after plunging from the edge of space at 843 miles per hour, shattering the sound barrier and human expectations in a single breathtaking freefall. But behind that epic jump was a man wired for risk, driven by purpose, and haunted by perfection. This is the full story of Felix Baumgartner, the daredevil who flew higher, fell harder, and ultimately lived life on his own edge. By 2025, Felix Baumgartner was more than a skydiver. He was a global icon of human potential. Known as Fearless Felix, he had built a net worth of $5 million, powered by sponsorships, documentaries, public appearances, and high-stakes stunts backed by brands like Red Bull, Zenith, and Audi. He wasn't just falling from buildings. He was rising as a brand. But money was never the mission. Freedom was. Early life. Felix was born on April 20th, 1969, in Salzburg, Austria, to Eva Baumgartner, a school cleaner, and Felix Sr., a carpenter. They were a working-class family, no parachutes, no planes, but their boy was different. At just 5 years old, Felix would climb onto roofs and trees, throw himself into the air, and yell, "I'm flying." By 16, he wasn't pretending anymore. He made his first real skydive, and from that moment, the Earth was no longer his home, the sky was. Forget elite universities. Felix took the hard road. He trained as a machinist, then joined the Austrian military, serving as a tank driver and parachute instructor. While others chased degrees, Felix was leaping out of aircraft at 15,000 feet. He wasn't studying physics, he was defying it. Personal life. Felix never married, but he had high-profile relationships, especially with Mihaela Radulescu, a glamorous Romanian TV star. They were often seen jet-setting between Austria, Switzerland, and Monaco, but behind the glamour was turbulence. Felix was known for being intense, sometimes too intense. In 2012, he was convicted of assault after an altercation with a Greek truck driver. Later, his political comments, including praise for Viktor Orban and calls for moderate dictatorship, sparked major backlash in Europe. He didn't fit the mold, and he didn't want to. "I'm not a role model. I'm a man on mission." Felix, though he kept his religion private, his mission was clear: push human limits. Parachute professional carry. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Felix became a legend in the underground world of base jumping, leaping off buildings, bridges, and cliffs with only seconds to deploy a parachute. Some of his legendary jumps. 1999, Petronas Towers, Malaysia. First person to leap from the tallest building in the world at the time. 2000, jump from the Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil. So close he could almost touch Jesus' fingers. 2003, flew across the English Channel with a carbon fiber wing strapped to his back. 2007, base jumped off Taipei 101, illegally, got banned from Taiwan for life. But none of these prepared him, or the world, for what came next. October 14th, 2012, New Mexico desert. A crowd of engineers and doctors hold their breath as a pressurized capsule is lifted into the stratosphere by a massive helium balloon. Inside, Felix Baumgartner. The altitude, 128,000 feet. The temperature, minus 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The risk, death on descent. And then, he jumps. 4 minutes and 19 seconds, the world watches as a man free falls from space, spinning at supersonic speed. He becomes the first human to break the sound barrier in free fall, Mach 1.25. The holder of the highest manned balloon flight. The man behind the most watched live stream in YouTube history at that time, 8 million live viewers. Sometimes you have to go up really high to understand how small you really are. Felix Baumgartner. He landed safely, on Earth, and in the history books. After that jump, Felix could have retired as a legend, but he didn't. Instead, he pursued new thrills, became a licensed helicopter pilot, performing rescue and aerobatic flights, competed in the 24 hours of Nürburgring endurance race in an Audi R8 LMS, gave TED Talks, starred in documentaries, and mentored young daredevils, advocated for spinal cord research through the Wings for Life Foundation. But behind the scenes, the adrenaline never stopped, and neither did the need to fly. House tour and car collection. Felix kept his private life very private, but sources confirm he lived in Lucerne, Switzerland in a minimalist lakeside home. Owned several high-performance vehicles, including Audi R8 LMS, his Nürburgring race car, Porsche 911 GT3, and Eurocopter EC-120 personal use helicopter. Rumors suggest he also had a custom paragliding setup worth over $100,000 with avionics tech rarely seen outside the military. He wasn't flashy, but every tool he owned had one thing in common. It could fly. College career. Felix didn't attend college, and he didn't need to. His education came from the Austrian Armed Forces, the School of Extreme Survival, and the physics of near death. In fact, universities studied him. NASA, MIT, and engineering schools worldwide analyzed his Stratos jump for insights into aerospace safety, pressure suit mechanics, and high-altitude survival. Cause of death. On July 17, 2025, tragedy struck. Felix was flying a motorized paraglider over Porto Sant'Elpidio, Italy, testing a custom hybrid glider he'd reportedly been developing. Eyewitnesses say the glider dipped erratically, clipped a hotel structure near a pool, and crashed. A hotel worker was injured. Felix was pronounced dead on the scene. Cause: sudden medical episode mid-air, likely cardiac in nature. He lost control with no time to react. He died the same way he lived, in the air, on his own terms. Felix Baumgartner redefined what it means to be brave. He jumped from space. He walked off skyscrapers. He outran fear. And though his body fell, his spirit still flies. Tributes poured in. Elon Musk, a pioneer of human courage. Rest in power, Felix. Red Bull. Without Felix, Stratos wouldn't exist. He was one of one. Mihaela Radulescu. You soared, even when the world wasn't ready. Now the sky keeps you. He jumped to inspire. He flew to feel alive. And in falling, Felix Baumgartner taught us how to rise. If you ever doubt what humans are capable of, remember the man who looked up at space and said, "Let's go." Rest in flight, Felix. 1969 to 2025.